Oh, we get one more pass of the mower on the other side of the fence. Yeehaw. I wouldn't have it any other way for episode 150, to be honest with you.
It is mowing season, you know?
I did something I've been promising you for years.
What's that?
I have receipts. I have facts. I have research.
Oh, shit. Let's go. Let's have it.
So more than once, I've said, you know, obviously we're idiots on ShiftLess. Welcome to episode 150, the podcast that's only about bicycles.
And conspiracies now.
And conspiracy theories. We started this show on the premise that we're both idiots, and we would reach out to experts to straighten us out on the things we were confused on. This whole thing is just so niche. There are no experts. It's just all a bunch of wild ass opinions on stuff for the most part. There's very little facts involved
pertaining to
just anything. Just anything. So one of the things, we've gone down a lot of bunny trails over the years.
Okay.
But I know I've made the statement more than once that one of these days I'm just going to hang out at the trailhead at North Shore and just do market research all day long.
Okay.
I did that yesterday.
Okay.
I did that yesterday.
And?
Well, there's lots of levels.
Okay.
There's layers, actually. You keep peeling away a layer and there's another layer.
Okay.
But some of the things I delved into were flats versus clipless.
Let me guess, like 15% flats.
We'll get there.
Okay.
Helmet, no helmet. Drop bar. Bluetooth speakers.
That's going to be higher than the no helmet number.
How many bikes do you own? What do you use for hydration? And what computer brand do you use? Those were the things I dug into. But again, there's layers to this.
To be fair, did you ask every rider that would indulge you all of those questions?
That's a very fair question. That's part of the layering.
Okay.
So we had a little bit of a thing yesterday. We had an endurance thing. We called it the Mountain Bike Free for All / Hell on Wheels, kind of a throwback to our very first event at North Shore, which was, I think it was supposed to be 100 miles of North Shore when nobody was really doing shit like that to begin with.
I feel like I was there. I feel like we rode there and
you may have
rode in the mix for a little bit.
You may have. It was like a 110-degree day in August when we did that one, and we called that one Hell on Wheels. That was where I first met Carlos and Lisa. That was the first time I ever met them. I think only one rider did the whole thing, Jacob Evans, and he got by basically on Red Bulls and donuts, maybe something like that. That was his nutrition and hydration schedule, but he was the only one that pulled it off.
Sounds like a recipe for gastrointestinal fallout.
Shannon didn't make it, but he persevered as hard as anyone. Ray Porter didn't make it. He persevered as hard as anyone. So yesterday's experiment, and it truly was an experiment, was we just put it out there. It's like, hey, who wants to see how many laps of North Shore they can do in 4, 6, or 8 hours?
Okay.
So that was one audience. And the way we had them set up was we were going to ask them a marketing question each lap as they checked in for their lap. So we weren't doing chip timing. It was manual timing. Swing by the van, check in. It's not a race. We're just counting laps and recording split time sort of thing. And when you check in, I'm going to ask you a marketing question each lap.
Okay.
So, marketing research question. So that was one audience. Well, we were parked right at the Mad Shelter Trailhead.
Okay.
We had our easy up out in the dirt going into the gate. And, so we were that spot right next. So in the meantime, as people are pedaling in for their first lap or riding by, as I'm able to observe certain things, I'm just ticking off tick sheets. So we basically had two audiences. We had the endurance mountain bike market survey, people that were dedicated to that. And then we had the everyday Joes that were just out there.
Yeah. Just trail fodder.
Yep. And those are, I know it's not a shock, but I was a little caught off guard by how much of a disparity it was between those two. Those are two very different audiences, and the numbers do not jive at all.
Yeah. North Shore, for whatever reason, is a magnet for all levels of riders, which is awesome. Don't get me wrong. But I think a lot of people show up prepared for what North Shore really is, especially the west side. I've seen some very under-geared riders just take off from Mad Shelter and head west. Always somewhat alarming to me.
There was less of that than I was expecting. There was some,
Yeah.
which was not shocking. There was one guy that, without a helmet, that just kept getting lost. I guess he started at Twin Coves and made his way to Mad, which that's not an easy ride for somebody that's new, completely new without a helmet.
And it's daunting realizing you have to make your way back.
And he couldn't, I mean, he must have done loop 5 like 8 times trying to get back to, so we find, I think he kept running into people on the trail, and he was asking, how do I get back to the parking lot?
Oh.
And they're all telling him to go back to Mad.
Yeah.
He doesn't realize Twin Coves is its own thing, that very few people go out there.
Man.
So I think that's what was happening. He gave up like after the 4th time coming back and asking Foster how to get, Foster kept taking him to the map. You do this, that. And from the first time, it's like, you just need to go back the road. You're, and Foster's like, well, how's he going to get back the road? And the guy taking him back the last, he's like, I'm just going to do Google Maps and take the road. It's like, that's a good plan.
But North Shore is, I'm trying to think of all the other trails that I know. If you want a shortcut, you take left at every intersection for the most part.
Foster tried to explain to him, just keep going right.
Yeah.
But if you've never ridden a mountain bike trail before and you have no concept of what you're in for.
Yeah, I forget how intuitive it is to me to be on a trail, but I guess I can see.
I remember the first time that I rode Knob Hills or attempted to ride it. I had it in my head for whatever. I mean, this was way back. There was a little bit. It's like when the only real information on Knob Hills was on mtbr.com.
And I bet it was great.
It was not much information, right?
Well, it was out and back then, too.
I didn't know that. That's what I'm saying. It didn't say, even if it did say out and back, I didn't know what an out and back. I didn't know what that meant. I mean, this was the first time I took my bicycle on a mountain bike trail as an adult. I mean, I no helmet. I just like this guy was. It's like, I knew it was by my house. It sounded interesting. I've been riding my bicycle, my Haro around the neighborhood every day for a month. I was strong as hell, man.
You're ready.
Hell yeah. And I think I met Lambo that very first. I didn't realize it at the time, but looking back on it, I'm pretty sure it was Lambo I met. He was my introduction to the local mountain bike scene. That's not a bad introduction.
Not a bad one at all.
But I maybe made it 2 miles in. It wasn't, and it was a hot day too.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that I was starting to get nervous because it was like, oh, I don't know what I'm in for in this sort of thing. It's like, I'm really interested. I do want to go further.
Yeah.
But I kind of was under the impression I would have already seen signage by then, or a clear map, or I wasn't expecting rough, overgrown single track. I thought it was going to be like a hiking trail.
That's why Denton Mountain Biking Trail is probably the best beginner trail.
That is the best beginner trail anywhere. River Legacy tries to be, and it used to almost was sort of thing, but now there's just so many little spiders on River Legacy that gets confused. Well, there may be spiders at Denton. I need to go back out to Denton. I need to see what it's up to these days.
Well, I was getting more so with there's a
the sign
mileage marker every
quarter mile. No, it's a tenth of a mile.
Yeah. So you know exactly what you're in for. And the trail's marked really well. And it's not technical. I think I think it's a better running trail than it is biking trail,
I
personally.
think technically it's closed to runners.
Is it?
Technically it is.
But I mean, I think for the layout and the length and the way it can loop, I think it's a great cross-country running trail.
Yeah, I think they segmented that one just to bicycles to keep bicycles off the other one.
I'm just talking about layout overall.
Understood. And
Sorry, I tangented your tangent.
It could have changed by now as well.
Yeah.
I haven't been there in probably a year.
I see people hiking it. What difference is hiking and running?
Well, technically it's supposed to be a bicycle on the trail.
Yeah.
Or it was, and maybe that's changed. I don't know.
Yeah. Sorry, I keep hitting this.
But all right. So, do you want to? Well, let's start with the mountain bike crowd and their feedback.
Okay.
Or the endurance crowd and their feedback.
Okay.
And then I'll kind of go into the general impressions of the.
What question were you most thorough with? Meaning you surveyed the most people.
As far as
you were most consistent about asking.
Well, it's going to be. I asked everybody that finished each lap. So as the day got longer and fewer people were finishing laps, fewer people got asked the later questions. Make sense?
Yeah.
So like the first one I asked, that everyone answered. So we had 32 people that actually showed up.
Okay.
And of those, 5 were on flats.
Okay.
So that leaves 26 clipless, correct?
Yeah.
And that's the endurance mountain bike crowd.
Yeah. I said about 15%. I think that's maybe 15%.
Understood. And that's the endurance mountain bike crowd. There's another little, we'll get to it. There's another little niche in the endurance mountain bike crowd that kind of throws our numbers off a little bit, but it's very relevant. We'll get to that later on. So the next question of all of the multi-lap riders that were officially signed up is, how many bikes do you have?
I'm guessing the majority of, especially that crowd, had at least 2 bikes. I'm going to say the majority of that crowd had 3 or more bikes.
That's probably about right.
Yeah.
I didn't run the average, but I'll just give you the sequence: 4, 3, 2, 2, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4, 4, 5, 7, 3, 3, 6, 4, 3, 3, 6, 1, 3, 1, 4, 4, 1, 5. So 3 to 4.
There's a surprising number of ones in there.
That was not surprising to me.
Yeah.
We had some newer endurance riders in the mix. There's also the possibility that a couple of our ones misunderstood what we were asking.
Yeah.
All right. The next question was for your hydration and what your on-bike hydration. Are you rolling water only, mostly electrolytes, or mostly calories?
Okay.
I realize it can get denser than that, but we're trying to do this simplified after 3 laps in 100-degree heat, right?
Yeah.
So water only was amazingly high. It was 8, primarily electrolytes versus electrolytes and calories.
It is a noisy day today.
It is.
Green's Oasis is a happening spot.
That was 9.
Oh.
And then predominantly calories or calorie oriented was 7.
So
fairly evenly mixed amongst them all.
Mixed, yeah.
More, and as hot of a day as it was yesterday, and with an endurance crowd, I was surprised how much water only there was.
Yeah.
So that one could probably use some additional digging and fine tuning, but I was just trying to get the broad stroke on it. And then the next one was which computer brand?
I'm going to guess Garmin was the leader and Wahoo was a close second.
Okay. Garmin was the huge leader by a very wide margin. And by the time we got to that number of riders still left, it was 12 were Garmin, 2 were Wahoo.
Oh, wow.
2 were phone only, and 3 were nothing.
I'm guessing the guy that got lost was a nothing.
The guy that got lost was not one of our riders. That was just a general trail user.
I'm guessing he wasn't Garmin though.
No, I'm pretty sure he was on the phone. We'll definitely talk about the general. So that was the official endurance multi-lap crowd. I was surprised how many were riding without a computer. I was definitely surprised by how prevalent Garmin is, but there is another piece to this equation that we're about to touch on. It was something I should have been aware of, but it was definitely a wake-up moment for me. Mm-hmm. The amount of people drinking water only was surprising, and the number of bikes was about what I expected. And the flats versus clipless, kind of surprised. I expected more flats, but in that crowd, I didn't expect it to be 50-50 or anything like that. Yeah. I thought there would be more flats. But so here's what.
And there wasn't a question. I'm just trying to think about how all of this information was gathered, because that's just an observational thing, right?
No, these were no, that was a question.
Okay. But
are you riding flats or clipless?
Right. I mean, I would think that could be just an observational. And the reason
for the general population, it was. And we'll get there.
Okay. And that's the reason I asked that, because because you mentioned flats versus drops. That's also an observational thing. You didn't have to ask.
Yeah, I didn't survey general population. That was observational.
Okay.
I was not affecting the study there by my interjection in the way I asked those questions. That was
fair enough.
Well, we'll get there.
Okay.
Because there was some very enlightening stuff in that general population market research. Here was the big deal on the endurance mountain bike side of things that skews these numbers, all of these levels somewhat. My biggest takeaway for the current state of endurance mountain bike riding in the North Texas market is this: I need to figure out how to have a translator on site the whole time.
Oh, was there a lot of Hispanics?
At least half.
Yeah.
At least half. And I knew that would be a large presence.
Yeah.
That part I wasn't surprised by. But that was, I would say, it was at least half of the field. It may have been the majority of the field. Mm. And, a number of them were not bilingual at all.
Yeah.
So obviously having the bilingual ones on hand helped tremendously, but that's something I'm going to need to care for in this market going forward.
Yeah.
Because that crew is very old school in what we're used to, and this is what endurance mountain biking is. This is a social thing. We're out there to have fun. We're out there to encourage each other, and it's not about having the latest and greatest of everything. They all had good bikes.
Yeah.
Solid bikes.
Yeah.
But a lot of them were hardtails.
Yeah.
I didn't see a single 32-inch bike out there yesterday, believe it or not.
Oh, I do believe that. Hummingbird. What about e-bikes?
We're getting there.
Okay.
We're getting there.
I'm not trying to jump ahead. I know you love it when I do that.
Oh, it's my favorite thing in the world. Not that we have, a whole pace to the show to cover. Did you finish your bear binge or not?
I did.
Okay, we'll get there. We're not going to interrupt this because this is relevant. Realistically, anybody in the bicycle industry, if they're not aware of these breakdowns going forward, particularly, but also looking back at that endurance mountain, because the endurance mountain bike crowd, again, that's what I regularly refer to when I disagree with you. When Brad, you're just in your own echo chamber. Mm-hmm. That endurance mountain bike crowd is definitely pretty close to your echo chamber.
Okay.
The general population, no.
Yeah.
So let's start with, where did my numbers go? Make sure I'm interpreting this correctly.
This does look like something you would see in a movie where somebody's being committed to the psych ward and they glance over at their notebook and there's just all these mad scribbles.
So this is the incidental. This is the observational tick sheet from about 7:30 in the morning till about 11 o'clock in the morning. I stopped recording after that.
Okay.
I think my percentages are close. I do want to throw one caveat onto this, though.
Okay.
And this was something that Foster touched on. In general, both of us expected to see more e-bikes and some more of the. It was a 100-degree day with 30-mile-an-hour winds yesterday. So the super casual crowd was not out there riding mountain bikes yesterday.
Yeah.
This is people that were maybe not completely dedicated to it or overly, just so whole hog into the passion of it. They just had to be there, but they were strong enough into the psychology of needing to ride a bike that they were out there on a 100-degree day, as opposed to somebody, I've got a bike in the garage. I think I'll go ride it out on a mountain bike trail today.
Yeah.
Agree or disagree with that premise?
Yeah. It's not a Disney day. I'm going to grab my bike. And
Yeah. So the people that were out there were more dedicated riders.
That's fair.
I think we had less of the random, out of nowhere amateur.
Yeah.
So,
and I would at least hypothesize that the majority of the uber casual riders begin at Lakeside anyways.
I would think very few come in and mad or make it all the way to mad to begin with.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
Agree. Except for the one guy that started at Twin Coves without a helmet and did like 18 laps of Loop 5. But regardless.
Yeah.
All right. So that in mind, it's not endurance cyclists, but it's also not the super casual pulling a dust-covered bike out. These are regular riders.
Okay.
And I would be shocked the level of bikes that were out there across the board. There were very few low-dollar bikes out there.
Yeah.
Very, very.
Yeah.
So, and that was another thing. It's like, there were no Walmart bikes out there or anything like that.
800 to 1200 is probably the entry level bike.
2,000 to 3,000.
Oh, really? Okay.
There's a few older bikes out there, sort of thing, but there were no casual bikes out there.
Okay.
Not that jumped out at me. I didn't truly survey bike makes yet. That will be a next level one for another. That'll be another project.
Yeah.
But so that crowd we've discussed, fairly dedicated bicycle riders, mountain bike experience. They have some. They are investing in their equipment.
Okay.
What percentage of those would you think are on flats versus clipless in that crowd?
I'm going to go with a higher percentage of flats here. Probably 30 to 40% flats in that crowd.
Okay.
Just because I think a lot of casual to moderate riders, which I'm also kind of lumping into riders, and that's a matter of perspective because I've been riding since I was a baby, but let's say 5 years or less come into the sport on flat pedals and kind of stick with what they know.
Right.
Newer riders in this newer era, more flat oriented.
All right. And
that's my guess.
And this tick sheet does not include my endurance riders because they were surveyed separately.
Yeah.
So this was just the tick sheet as people rolled through.
Okay.
Exactly 50-50.
Okay.
Exactly 50-50.
Not a surprise.
All right. The next would be e-bike versus traditional bicycle.
I'm going to go 25% e-bike.
The 27 to 12, whatever that, so 12.
So it's about 30%.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was a number that came up. To be honest with you, I expected to see more e-bikes than that. But when I was thinking that, the e-bike numbers did come on later in that. Early in the morning, we were actually seeing a lot fewer e-bikes than I expected. But as it crept up towards 10, 11.
That's because e-bike riders sleep in, man.
Well, there's something to be said for that.
You should sleep late, man. It's just much easier on your constitution.
Well, we're gonna talk about that e-bike crowd a little more. I know that's going to surprise you. Not this. This actually does not include. This does not include the guy that was lost coming from Twin Coves.
Was he on an e-bike?
He was not.
Okay.
But my next one is not including that guy. How many no helmet riders do you think I saw?
Oh, man, it varies out there. There's some days I go out there and I'll see half a dozen to 10 riders without helmets. I'm guessing, given all the parameters and considering the weather and the weekend and everything, maybe lower, maybe like 10%, 15% no helmet riders. One person. Not counting the guy that was
not counting that guy.
Lost. Okay.
That's
impressive.
I was surprised it was that low, but it's a 100-degree day.
Was this an adult or
Yes.
a child?
Yes,
Okay.
most assuredly.
And were they with a group or were they solo?
No, he was just riding by himself.
Yeah.
I believe he was shirtless too. So
I think that the helmetless rider typically is a solo person or with a very undereducated group. Like they're all
Right.
unfit to be on the trail.
no, this was a solo rider. I think he was coming in from 5,
Yeah.
but he had that no helmet attitude thing.
Did he
where
also have a Bluetooth speaker?
He did not.
Huh.
He did not.
Surprising.
He kind of had that meth head look to him as he was rolling through a little bit, but he cocky as hell, and obviously, look at all these dweebs in their spandex and helmets.
Yeah.
I am the king of the trail.
Swagger.
Yeah.
That's what the kids call it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Riz. All right.
All right. So
one
one no helmet. I was surprised by that. Here's the next one.
I am very surprised.
How many drop bar bikes do you think I saw out there yesterday?
Low number. North Shore doesn't call a lot of drop bar riders. In fact, I've ridden drop bar at North Shore more times when it was a destination, meaning we incorporated some of North Shore into a ramble that we were doing. I have taken a drop bar to North Shore to ride it specifically. I'm going to say that's a very low number. I'm going to say 10% at best.
So how many is that?
Out of how many?
I don't know. I
would be surprised if you saw 2 or 3 drop bar.
I will give you the win on that. We saw 2.
Okay.
We saw 2. I had one here. It was people that were obviously navigating with phones versus not. That I'm not going to count that number anymore.
Yeah.
Bluetooth speakers. Now there is a caveat to this, so I have to go by what I actually heard. I'm not inspecting people's bags and
right. They could have had a Bluetooth. Could have been off.
Could have been off at the Mad Shelter. But I have yet to come across a Bluetooth rider that doesn't crank it up while they're at Mad Shelter.
And Taylor Swift specifically. I'm going to go 3 to 5, but wouldn't be surprised if it was upwards of 8.
It was actually 2 during the sample period until 11 o'clock in the morning, and then one more that kind of just came in a little bit over the line. So
okay.
I'll give you your 3 on that.
Okay.
One. So you were not far off on that. So that was the official survey questions. The big takeaway.
No real surprises there except for the water only.
Well, 50% of flats to clipless. Like I've been saying that for years, and you keep telling me I'm way off, thinking that's the current mountain bike crowd.
Well, when I think about the subsets, though, like I said, with all my buildup of saying new riders in this new era, it makes sense. But when you talk about your endurance level riders, I think less of those people, especially the people that are out there to turn 4, 6, 8 hours.
Right.
Less of that crowd's going to be on flat pedals. So
I agree with.
Not a huge surprise.
But the general population is definitely 50%.
Yeah.
And I think going back to the predominance of I don't even know what's appropriate. So please lash out at me if I'm wrong.
Oh my
if
God.
I go with Hispanic or Latin or the non-English speaking, mostly Spanish speaking endurance mountain bikers, they did reinforce to me they're even more old school is not the right word, but more traditional than probably even our niche is. If we had a predominantly non-Hispanic endurance crowd there, and I say that for other markets that may not have that component to their demographic, I think if it was more Kevins and Brads that were in there, it would be a much smaller event than this one ended up. But I think it would be still a higher predominance of flats, I guess is what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
These guys are very, very traditional XC based, which I appreciated tremendously because it damn sure didn't hold them up any.
The Hispanic market in the DFW is the new torchbearer for mountain biking.
There's no doubt about
They're
it.
the fastest growing market. Just from participation at trailheads that I've noticed, especially at North Shore, which is where I spend most of my time on trails, it seems to be just in the last, since COVID, there's been a huge rise in the number of serious-ish Hispanic mountain bikers.
They made up a really good part of our market when we were still doing mountain bike events, even pre-COVID.
Yeah.
So I would say probably from 15, 16.
Okay.
It really started, but I was surprised that they were the majority of this weekend's event.
But they host rides just like
like
TNSS. There's a borderline rival ride that starts at
No, they have a solid community.
Yeah.
They have a solid and that was great to see. And
they'll have a train of like 30 or 40 riders come by Mad Shelter.
And that was a big change from the traditional dynamic at the North Shore Trailhead that I'm used to from years gone by. Yes, everybody was riding with somebody else. There were very few true solo riders out there, but there were only a couple of bigger groups that were out there. Where it used to be, it would just be one group of 6 or 8 there's another group of 6 or 8 after them, and there's a group of 12 going out. It was mostly 2s and 3s. If you saw 4, that was a big group. There were a couple of 8 to 12 people groups that we're meeting at 9 and we're going out together. But most of it was pretty, it was mostly 2s and 3s for the most part.
To be fair, I steer clear of North Shore on the weekend.
Understood.
Unless I ride there.
And I do want to reinforce that. I am not presenting that this is a small sampling.
Yeah.
I am not saying, these are the universal numbers.
I'm just applying more layers.
I agree. It's complicated.
Yeah.
It's extremely complicated.
Yeah, like I'd be interested if, we could put a flock camera at Mad Shelter and just do a 7-day observation. If we could somehow just computerize a 7-day operation, at Mad Shelter specifically, and just run all the numbers. Because the weekend versus the weekday, the demographic changes, obviously the timeline changes, but you still have people that go out on like a Wednesday morning and clip off a lap or,
Sure.
But the weekend's definitely a different crowd. And like you love to say, weather's always a factor too. Like if it had been 85 yesterday and less wind.
I'm going to definitely have to do a weekend out there in the fall when it's just primo weather and just
hero dirt.
Just see what the difference is in the crowd.
Yeah.
Then that said, if it's a primo day on a weekend, though, I really don't want to waste it from an event.
But it's also you got to factor in that it's summer and people are traveling, and mountain bikers specifically. don't want to be in Texas riding. So if they're traveling, they're taking their bike and they're going at the closest, they're going to like Bentonville or places like that,
right.
you know? So
now going back to what I was saying, so my initial numbers were, you know, I kind of cut it off at 11 just to be consistent, as opposed to keep hitting tick sheets throughout the day, but the numbers start getting skewed because I can tell they're on an e-bike or whatever, but not if they're on flat. And the later in the day it got, the less engaged I was with staying on top of that myself. But that said, the later in the day it got, the denser proportionally the e-bike crowd got to the pedal bike. Later in the day, in the heat of the day, it became more e-bike oriented, which makes sense.
Yeah.
People pedaling a bike don't want to be pedaling at 12:30 in the afternoon, sort of thing.
Did you ask how many riders were on performance enhancing drugs?
I did not.
That would have been a good question.
Oh yeah, I'm sure everyone would have been completely transparent about that as well.
100%. Are you currently on any performance enhancing? That would have been a good one. Just the left, just for the record.
But yeah, so here, well, let me take this a couple different. I'm not going to go right into the e-bikes yet because I know when I get there, it's going to sound like I'm gatekeeping and I'm anti-e-bike. I'm not.
I don't think the e-bike horse is dead yet.
It's not. There's some pieces to it though. But anyway, I'm going to do a more in-depth survey with the general population somewhere down the road. I was surprised by the perceived average dollar value of each bike that went through there. I expected to see more lower dollar bike. I didn't expect it to be the majority, right? But I mean, these were some, generally speaking, very high dollar bikes all day on Saturday.
Okay. Any assertion of full suspension versus hardtails?
I wasn't watching that closely. I will say there were more hardtails than I expected.
Yeah.
But again, that was very Hispanic leaning as well.
Yeah.
There were still more hardtails than I expected. The takeaway, though, was that, as I've been saying for literally years on this show, our perception of what bikes people are riding, we're in our echo chamber.
Yeah, it's hard not to be.
It was all Specialized was very strong.
Yeah.
Pivot was very strong. Yeti was very strong.
I'm gonna guess that Pivot and Yeti were not in the Hispanic crowd, though.
I don't recall Yeti being there. I think a couple Pivots were in the mix.
Okay.
Strong Orbea, not a surprise.
Yeah, not a surprise.
Rebel,
Spanish company.
Rebel, Santa Cruz.
Yeah. What was the most exotic bike you saw? How about that? That you recall, obviously.
Nothing that jumped out at me as exotic.
Okay. Or high end, the most high end bike you saw.
Well, I mean, once you start getting into Pivots and Yetis, the $5,000 ones look just as expensive as the $10,000 ones.
Kind of true.
You got to. It's got to be sitting still, and you got to check components.
Yeah,
you know?
That's true. They do a good job of kind of masking that across their lines, both of those companies.
Well, the other thing a lot of them are doing now is they're doing that big bulbous bottom bracket shell. So it's hard to tell at a glance if it's an e-bike or not. Yeah. So sometimes, and if I didn't know for sure, I didn't count it either way. So yeah. I had to know for sure. Here was there were two brands that were big takeaways for me: Cannondale and Trek. Cannondale, I was shocked by how many Cannondales there were on the trail. Trek, I was shocked by how few there were on the trail.
Yeah,
both of those caught me off guard in that regard.
I feel like Trek has really slid off of the mountain bike market, especially in the DFW area, probably since COVID.
Maybe, I don't know. I couldn't tell you what. I'm assuming Trek mountain bikes are still called fuels, but I don't even know that.
I don't think I can think of a single friend, associate, cyclist that I'm aware of that owns a Trek mountain bike.
Now, I'm not saying I didn't see any.
Yeah.
I saw a few Treks.
Yeah.
But I expected to see a lot more. And again, I was absolutely shocked.
Especially with how many Trek shops there are.
Yep. I was shocked at how many Cannondales I saw.
Yeah.
So Ian's doing some good work with Cannondale,
Yeah.
whatever he's doing out here. Oh, I saw Ben out there on his scalpel. That was one of the Cannondales. I think I saw Booker screaming by, but I'm not sure it was.
So those two were probably on e-bikes.
Ben was on a scalpel.
Oh, okay.
He was all kitted up. He's a racer boy again. And
looking svelte. He is thinner than I've ever seen him.
I thought you were the one that told me that Booker was back on a regular bike. Somebody told me Booker's back on a regular bike.
It's possible.
Somebody told me that. And no, it wasn't you, because when I brought it up to you that I heard he was back, maybe Ben's the one that told me he was back on a regular bike. Might have been.
There seems to be a shift from, and once again, this is niche upon niche upon niche upon niche, but there seems to be two ways that experienced racer cyclists that transitioned into e-bikes, they dipped their toe in, they went hardcore, had multiple e-bikes, and just in the past year maybe I've seen a handful transition
starting to go
back.
Starting to go back.
So it's not the slippery slope that I initially thought it was going to be.
It's like I've said before, it's a completely different experience.
It is. I do agree.
Is completely different. It's not a bad one, it's not one's better than the other. They're two different experiences. And if you think you're going to get on an e-bike and have that same experience but better, that's not the right mindset to have.
We need to have a Tesla e-bike that has autopilot so you can just go fast and not hit trees.
So here was, and again, as I was talking about, the later in the day, it got the denser the e-bike proportions got. But it was pretty consistent through most of the day. When you saw somebody on an e-bike, they were kitted up more than I am on my motorcycle with the armor and everything else. These guys, they were all full face helmet.
Oh, wow.
Full armor was the du jour, even at 2:00 in the afternoon, a full black armor kit.
Wow.
Full
Hydration bladder, I'm guessing.
I don't think I saw to that level of detail, but I'm assuming so.
Yeah.
Some of them were even riding with the Cardos, the two-way communicators.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
I mean, this was very much an off-road motorcycle kitted. That is the current, and make no mistake, they're on a bicycle that costs as much as a dirt bike.
Yeah. And flat pedals, I'm sure.
Yo, yes. Oh, yes. Yeah, so, and this is where I know I'm going to sound gatekeeperish, but it's really not. It's really not. I know, I am almost 90% positive that the majority of those e-bike riders with their full armor, full face helmets, they talk very disdainfully about the mountain bike roadies in their spandex and regular bicycle helmets.
Yeah.
And they say, I would never be caught dead in that getup. Here's the deal. You look just as dorky in that setup as we do in our spandex sort of thing.
Yeah. Especially when you take it from a perspective of the thought process I've always had, and the reason I dress the way I do when I ride now is because I don't want to look like a sore thumb when I stop at a convenience store. That's the perspective.
The baggies and loose stuff, that part makes sense.
Yeah.
But if you're just riding a bike, particularly when it's 100 degrees out, there's a reason people wear that stuff when they're riding a bicycle.
Yeah.
It's what people aren't doing it. I mean, probably why Ben's back to spandex. He feels svelte enough that he looks okay in spandex again. That's probably part of the equation.
Well, it's honestly, it's a watt robber too. I mean, especially when you're on open exposed.
Yeah, but if you're on an e-bike, that doesn't matter.
Yeah, maybe.
Not so much.
Yeah.
Not so much.
But every watt matters when you're pedaling yourself.
There's no doubt about that.
So.
But yeah, I was the e-bike current. I say current as far as the crowd that was on e-bikes yesterday at North Shore. They were very motorcycle-ish.
Yeah.
In their mindset sort of thing. And a bunch of them were the ones that would just go whizzing through mad at the crossing there.
So you think that's for protection?
A perception of protection.
Okay.
They think they need that level of protection. I mean, I guess maybe they do if they're trying to go 30 miles an hour through Loop 5. You know?
I mean, you can mess yourself up at North Shore.
You can. So I guess I shouldn't get too far ahead of myself. I should see how most of these guys are riding.
Yeah.
I know how most of them were riding at Mad Shelter, trying to figure out how to even just stop there.
You could get a really good swath of the population just at Mad Shelter.
It's good people watching.
It is.
It's fantastic people watching. I am back to my nobody's building skills on an e-bike, generally speaking.
I don't think so either.
Generally speaking, there's a lot more skill building to be had around here on a hardtail than any dual suspension bike to begin with. Everybody should, I think 29er is fine, but hardtail 29er, that's where you need to start riding a bike.
That is, yeah.
Or mountain biking.
And even rigid would just...
Rigid wouldn't be terrible, but I will give people that benefit because if you start out on rigid and don't know what you're doing yet, it could be just enough to go, I don't want to do this no more.
Yeah, that's very true. But if everybody rode, if you just dedicated a calendar year and rode a single or a rigid mountain bike that not necessarily single speed.
No, not necessarily single
speed. Your skills and your momentum conservation and line picking would go through the roof.
And your fitness.
Yeah, and your fitness.
That's right. I'm a firm believer that real change, and it's not just riding bike. It's any true passion you pursue, anything you devote a lot of time to. It's basically every 2 years is when you really level up. If you're doing it regularly, I mean, don't get me wrong, you build up over the course of those 2 years, but it's a night and day difference from day one to year two. What you accomplish in 2 years is what the real, there's no piece of equipment you can invest in that's going to get you that 2 years of experience and by throwing money at it or speeding up that process by 90%. That doesn't happen.
Yeah.
You're not going to become a 2-year quality rider in 6 weeks, no matter what you do.
Right.
You have to put in that saddle time. It has to happen one way or another.
Agreed.
But yeah, anyone putting in a year on a hardtail mountain bike around here is going to be tremendous. And they can do it on a $1,500 hardtail mountain bike. They're going to be tremendously more skilled than anybody that started out on a $10,000 e-bike and rode it for 2 years.
I don't disagree at all.
So, again, that's not gatekeeping. I'm not telling you to not ride your e-bike. You're not improving your skills.
How would that be perceived as gatekeeping? I don't even understand.
Well, anytime you say anything negative or perceived as negative towards a subset,
I guess I misunderstand.
They get interchanged.
Gatekeeping is more like if I have a recipe and I won't give it to you.
The bashing gets turned around into you're anti us because you don't want us on your trail, and they consider that gatekeeping. And I mean, make no mistake, there is definitely e-bike gatekeeping out there. Well, you were pretty hard into it for a while. You've mellowed on that somewhat.
So I think most of my e-bike hesitance was rooted in my own fears of me getting on an e-bike and
falling in love
and not looking back. I was projecting a lot, you know? We grow, we learn.
We learn. But I mean, there are definitely areas where just, you know, they do everything they can to keep e-bikes off the trail for as long as they can.
It's inevitable.
It's very much like the snowboard scene when it came on, that and the ski resorts that wouldn't allow snowboards for years and years and years.
Is Taos still no snowboard?
No, they allow it now. Okay. That's my understanding.
Okay.
I believe I could be.
Taos was the standout.
They were they were the last holdout for a while, as far as the bigger ones go.
Yeah.
Anyway,
and once again, it was inevitable. Snowboards are
the market shifts.
Mm-hmm.
The market shifts. Now that said, I am still anti being careless on an e-bike out on the trail.
I'm anti being careless on any bike.
Exactly.
Reckless.
Exactly. I do believe that does at least indirectly police itself over time, though. If you aren't skilled enough to ride an e-bike at 30 miles an hour through North Shore, something's going to stop you sooner or later.
Definitely. Yeah, you can't just motor through everything there. There is an amount of skill that's necessary. And I think that, you know, the one aspect that you're going to get better at, excel at on an e-bike that you're not on a hardtail is high-speed cornering and just absolute processing speed of reading the trail, reading the lines. You know, you've got to fine-tune that to ride an e-bike at its peak, if that makes sense.
Agreed. Now,
that's why, like, ex-motorcycle riders on e-bikes, they already have that processing speed.
Yeah.
And so their ability to handle the bike and everything just goes hand in hand.
That's something that seems to have diminished. That's not as much of a thing as it used to be. And maybe it's just because I'm not putting on the mountain bike event, so I'm not seeing as many of those people.
Yeah.
That's probably what it is. It used to be a good 15-20% of our mountain bike racers were former motocross racers of some level.
Yeah. Well, there was a big train of thought or school of thought that cross training for motocross was very well done on a mountain bike because you get cardio.
Right.
You're also working on handling skills and everything else.
Hand-eye and muscle memory and all that.
And I don't know if that's such a big deal anymore in the motocross training regimen, if you will. And maybe that's where that number dropped off, because that was a big school of thought 20 years ago, 15 years ago, you know.
But maybe that's the thing. Maybe motocross is all just the big, you know, jump tracks and everything. Now maybe they're not doing the single track stuff motocross like they. I don't know. I wouldn't know.
I really don't know. Yeah.
I wouldn't know.
But that's how we had so many mountain bikers leech over from motocross.
What again, going back to just in general, the bike brands.
Mm-hmm.
There were no boutique bikes out. I didn't see any. I didn't see a single titanium.
Yeah.
Anything. Well, except for Nico's demo stuff that he had.
Uh-huh.
I didn't see a single salsa out there, except for people that were riding Nico's demos.
Yeah.
I don't recall seeing a single Giant, but I will put a caveat on that. There were quite a few bikes that rolled through. It's like, I don't know what brand that is. So it wasn't prominent on their down tube if they were Giant or Trek. Like, there were a couple of dual suspension bikes. It's like, that looks fuelish. That might be a Trek, but I'm not sure because I don't know what their bikes look like these days.
Yeah, and a lot of, Scott and Trek, and I think even Giant.
Scott was present in that Hispanic crowd too.
But they've gotten to where they put their logo on the bottom of the down tube now, which doesn't really.
I'm thinking maybe the Giants that I didn't see might have been some of those that weren't as prominently marked with the brand. So I may have seen a number of Giants, but I just wasn't sure what they were. Or maybe even people had taken the stickers off. I don't know. It's possible, I suppose. But there were no Chumbas, there were no Moots, there were nothing boutique, nothing really off the wall out there. It was all very big. There wasn't a single Surly out there except for what Nico was showing off.
Yeah.
It was all big box brands. Lots of specialized. Again, more Cannondale than I expected. Several Scotts, several Orbeas, both, and not just in the endurance crowd. More Orbeas and Scotts than I expected to see out there.
This is what the new Trek Top Fuel looks like. Fairly nondescript.
Fairly.
Speaking of exotics, did you see the new Canyon prototype 32-inch mountain
I didn't
bike?
even see any Canyons out there now that I think about it.
Yeah, they're more in the gravel realm.
They were big
Gravel
in mountain
road
bike
realm.
when they first kicked off as Canyon. They were mountain bike oriented there.
Yeah.
Again, I haven't really been shopping mountain bikes, so I don't know what's out there. Anyway, so what was the new Canyon that you saw?
Let's see if I can pull it up. Have you not seen this?
No, I have not.
Canyon. Let's go. Canyon prototype. I think they just released it. I think it was at Bike.
I'm sorry. What was it? Was I missed what I just heard the Canyon. I didn't even hear what the. It's a Scrabble Mountain 32, 29.
It's a 32. Also, they're doing Avinox gearbox in their upcoming lineup.
Okay.
Which I'm confused how Avinox branded that because I thought that was DJI.
I did see several Amflows.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's surprising.
I saw one with a coil spring.
Oh, wow. Let me see. Images to see if this comes up. This is it right here. Look at this thing.
Canyon. Oh, get rid of that damn pop-up ad. Canyon Lux Era XC concept bike, 32-inch. But the Era... there they go with their funky handlebar shit again.
But this makes perfect sense when you think about it. In fact, I have been seeing a couple of engineer prototype drawings about solving the cockpit issue. I saw one that made the most sense to me. Now, I don't understand how you evade dust and stuff, but basically the guy was saying, hey, let's keep the head tubes as long as they were, still run a top race and a bottom race, but let's put a penetration in the head tube and mount the stem there. So you can be down, you can still have a full head tube, you can get your geometry where you want it. And that's essentially what they're doing here, is they're just capping the top and the bottom, putting it between the fork and the top of the head tube so they can lower those bars and still be, from a geometry standpoint, it makes sense. It looks funky, but it's typical, Canyon.
I guess I'm not following. I mean, yeah, I get it that there's the bottom support on there, but as far as the geometry itself is concerned, how is that different than the basically the inverted the inverted riser bar, the mustache type bar that other manufacturers are using? How is that different?
A lot of people are using drop stems, doing a negative drop stem, but what's happening is in order to get the bars down, they have to push them forward so that that stem can clear for turning around the head tube. Whereas what they're doing is they're effectively putting the center of the bar in the head tube.
In the head tube.
Yeah.
Right. The head but
I mean, yeah, it's cool that they're doing a 32 and everything, but this is part of the 32 solution as far as they're concerned, it looks like.
But is it, though? Because that's even worse than an integrated...
Oh, trust me, the proprietariness of it is not lost on me.
Yeah, there is no adjustability in that, right?
I don't disagree.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
But I think, thank you, Canyon, for thinking outside the box.
Okay.
As far as a cockpit,
Did you watch that Sid and Mackie video I sent you? Okay. That was a very interesting one. So Mackie had a prototype, whatever their bike brand is, 32, and he had a 2-day mountain bike weekend I think it was a shorter race on Saturday and a longer race on Sunday, but the same course. And so he was going to race the 32-inch prototype day one and compare it against his 29er on day two, sort of thing. Really good, interesting approach to it all. Essentially, he had a wheel failure 10 miles in, so not a much
on the
32.
Okay.
So he didn't get a whole lot of information.
What was the wheel failure attributed to?
Probably the prawls in the rear hub.
Oh, so it wasn't an actual wheel failure; it was a hub failure.
It was a hub failure.
Okay.
Sorry.
Well,
I was being very generous.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't a tacoed wheel.
Right,
no.
right. That's why I was.
It was a hub.
That's why
it was a
piqued my
hub
interest.
failure.
Yeah.
It was a hub. So Caleb watched it because he commented, but obviously you didn't watch it. So
Sorry, I've been.
I don't know what we're gonna do. How are we supposed to do this show if you don't participate in the research?
At least I show up. Where's Caleb? Where's Caleb?
He's not in a better place.
No, he's not.
He's in Little Elm.
No.
Oh, it's not Little. I thought that's where they were moving to for the short term.
No, Flomo.
Was it Flomo?
Yeah, but they're transitioning back into their house.
Are they?
Yeah.
Okay.
In fact, I went over and saw him day before yesterday. I guess it was Saturday. Yeah, because Saturday's when we got Lawrence. Saturday morning.
So Bradford has a new puppy. So
Lawrence.
Give us the story on this. What's this all about? What is Lawrence besides terribly cute?
We really don't know. He came from a shelter, but he is primarily Pyrenees.
I thought I saw some Pyr in there.
Yeah. The rumor is that he's Pyrenees, Shepherd, and Lab, but I don't know.
There's something brindley in there.
Yeah, we'll see as he develops, but God, is he the cutest. So I've been, ever since we lost Lucky, I've been telling Paula, as soon as Leonard gets a little bit more chill, we need to bring another dog into the fold. I'm a multi-dog house, and we had already picked out a name, and we just needed a dog to go with the name. And I got back on Friday from Mississippi, and I literally was not looking. I was on Facebook, and there was some group, Harvest Unfiltered or something, and they had a listing for these 4 puppies that had been dumped, and the family was looking for a home for them, and I was like, done. As soon as I saw the pictures, I was like,
so my dump puppy wasn't good enough for you, but this one is.
It wasn't the right time, Kevin.
I know. I'm busting your balls.
Dude, if it was up to me, I would have all the dogs.
Oh well, no, that's my slogan. All the dogs.
Yeah. I mean,
trust me, if I could do it, I would have that.
Yeah.
That extra puppy.
Yeah.
So, no, then kudos to you doing it the right way.
Dude, I'm a firm believer in pay as little for your dogs as you can and love them as much as you can. Don't get me wrong. I'd love to have a, $4,000 show dog, but it wouldn't make me love them anymore,
Understood. So you got him Saturday? Is that what you said?
Saturday. Yeah.
Everything going smooth so far?
Yeah. He's, we've only had 2 accidents in the house, and that's because we're still learning his signs.
Sure. Sure.
But when he gets up and is moving about, just pick him up and take him outside.
Do we know how old he is?
He's almost immediately. The rumor is he was about 6 weeks when we got him.
Okay.
So he's tiny. I mean, especially considering he's Pyrenees.
If he's 6 weeks, that's a big puppy.
Yeah. Yeah. He's going to be a big boy. And I feel bad because Paula had told me numerous times, and she still is reminding me, I told you that the next dog I wanted was going to be small.
A lap dog. Oh, he'll be a lap dog.
Yeah. I said, well, the next dog can be a small dog.
We got our small dog. We weren't expecting it to be a small dog. She turned out that way.
Yeah.
But, so.
Well, Aussies can do that, though, right? They can be.
Well, so this one, Ellie, we thought was a It's the big. It's not the Scottish Terrier, the little the big Stafford Terrier or something like that. But
Sounds right.
something like that. It's got the wire code and the big. There's a big one of those. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head. So it's supposed to be that and a Border Collie mix. Ended up being a Corgi Border Collie mix because Mama was a hoe. So they saw her get mounted by the big dog.
And thought that's where the babies came.
And actually some of them did.
Oh. Can it work like that?
Yeah, it can with dogs.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know you could have an
mix,
intermixed litter.
You can mix the litter.
Huh.
And, well, I was not aware myself.
Interesting.
So
learn something new.
The one we ended up with was the one that was Corgi. So we're expecting this dog to grow up any minute now. It just kept not growing.
It's grounded.
It's very grounded. And so that's our little miss right now. And
dogs are the best.
Dogs are greatness.
I don't understand the mentality behind somebody that can dump dogs and just turn around and not look back. It boggles my mind. Like, have some compassion, some empathy, and do something correct with that. I think, dog.
And maybe I'm giving too much benefit of the doubt here,
which I'm okay with.
And I don't think I'm rationalized because I can't see myself ever doing anything like that myself.
Me neither.
I think many of the people do that knowing that somebody like us is going to come along and
it's awfully assumptive and it's a gamble.
Well, again, that's the rationalization. I think we've spoken about it before. I've known people that have done very, very bad things and they're able to rationalize in their head that they're not doing anything wrong.
Yeah.
And the most fundamental rationalization is, well, if I think this way, everyone else does too.
Every sane person rationalizes everything they do for the most part.
Well, I don't disagree. Yeah. But I know good and damn well some of my shit's fucked.
Yeah.
I know it.
Oh, I'm far from perfect.
I know it. But while we've got time, now, what were your impressions after your bear binge?
Sadness. First of all, I went back and I watched the last 2 episodes of season 4.
Okay.
And I had forgotten how good that final episode of season 4 was. And
you hadn't. Well, last I talked, you hadn't even seen the final episode.
I think I misspoke because
you had seen it and you just didn't recall that you'd seen it. Okay.
So that entire scene takes place out the back door.
Yep.
And there's only 4 characters in the whole episode.
Yep.
And Natalie is only there for
a second.
Yeah. But it's primarily Sid and Carmi
and Richie.
And then Richie makes an appearance. And just the emotion in that episode, so well captured, so well done. And I thought it was a great ender for season 4. Season 5 seemed like we were back to just unhinged bear a little bit,
I'm sure that was completely.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to go into this. I was off base. My takeaway from the end of season 4, that last episode, was that Carmen was gone.
Yeah.
That he wasn't even going to be in season 5. Or make an appearance.
Yeah.
My interpretation of that was, this is how they transitioned to the bear being a series without him because he's a big superstar now.
Yeah.
That was my perception of it. So I was very caught off guard that, no, Carmen's still there for this last season. And this is the final season.
That was the final season.
So they wrapped up the story.
Yeah, and I thought they did a really good job. My sadness was the fact that it was concluded.
Yeah.
So many good scenes, so much great writing. I feel like the luster and that great cinematography and the tight food scenes and the montages with the stellar music was not quite there in season 5 like it was in season 2 and season 3.
Well, they did something so fundamentally different though. this was all basically one night or one day. All the episodes
It was a couple of days.
It was.
Oh no, you're right. It was.
It was the last service.
Yeah, yeah.
It was the last service and the next day.
Yeah, yeah. Because it picked up at the end of when the clock ran out, basically, and then it started what was going to be the final service day.
But I mean,
the whole air rights chase and all that stuff seemed like a lot.
It was it was a little forced.
Yeah.
It was a little forced. They're just trying to give everybody something to do that final day.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. But
I love Matty Matheson in this final season. I'm a big fan of his, and he is I think he's the writer, or
I don't think he's a writer, but he's a producer, idea guy, or he was the concept dropper, I think.
He definitely was their what do you call it, consultant on the food aspect and everything. He's a big time chef, so I think he was originally on staff and everything to be like to keep them true to life,
right,
so to speak.
Right.
But I love his character, and when he happened to be waiting on the table, that was greatness. Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Oh yeah. Sorry. But I did call because Paula and I were watching it when they got in a pinch during the service, and I go, she's gonna have T fire the Brussels, and like not even 15 seconds later, she's like, T, fire those Brussels. And then when they drops the lamb, I go, they're gonna fucking sell the short ribs. And then as soon as they did, Paula's like, have you seen this? And I'm like, no, but I'm thinking like this is what I would do.
Right.
This is where my mindset would be. And plus there's gonna be a callback. There was not enough attention put on the short ribs. And that was kind of Sydney and Carmi's kind of bonds, and where it kind of showed they were, at least from a cuisine point, aligned.
Right. Right.
And so it was kind of like a trust thing.
I got to admit, typically I would have gone into my pre-binging and at least have watched last season again, which I probably should have done. I completely, when they kept talking Starman, if they referenced it this season, what they were alluding to, I missed that part. So it wasn't registering in my head, but they were referring to Starman. I wasn't realizing they were.
You were thinking about the 90s movie, Starman?
I just wasn't realizing it was the Michelin star.
Yeah.
That they had been pursuing last season, right? Yeah. So that wasn't registering to me. What's Starman? It's like the Weatherman. What's the big deal about the Weatherman? And it's like, so I wasn't putting those together.
No. I love how they built the tension though with the weather, just the way they integrated all of the chaos that had to be overcome. It was fairly typical of a day in the restaurant business, although it was obviously dramatized for a television show.
You got to spice it up.
Yeah, but I mean, you have to be a survivor in the restaurant industry. You have to be fluid. You have to roll with the punches and go, oh, we just dropped our last lamb. Let's send some short ribs. I mean, that's the kind of fluidity you have to have.
My favorite shot in the whole season, I'm not going to say the whole series, but my favorite shot in the whole season, though, was after they killed it on that last night and pulled it off, and they all go back in the alley towards the dumpster, and everybody's just fired up the cigarette. Yeah. Even Carmen went back to smoking. Yeah. It's like, that was like, man, that's it, right?
And the whole deceptiveness of, I guess it was the final episode where he goes and meets that lady.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, is this a therapy session?
They were trying
a job interview?
Yeah. Is this is he pitching a book or what is
yeah.
Well, but that's it. They wanted us asking that the whole time.
It was purposely deceptive, but the thing that threw me even more was the guy that walked him there, and then he said, "Would you wait for me?" And I was like, is he being deposed or, I just had no clue.
I thought he was pitching
a book.
I thought he was pitching TV series.
Yeah.
I thought that's what it was going to be.
Yeah, it would have been interesting if he would have been pitching the Bear TV series.
That's kind of where that's kind of what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
And maybe that's what they were trying to get, because wasn't that cousin of his, wasn't he involved in the publishing business or something like that?
I really don't.
I got to go back to that episode at the.
I'm going to give it a little breathing room, and then I'm
watching the whole thing again.
I'm going to watch the whole thing again.
I'm watching the whole thing again.
Especially now that you can just sit down and watch it in succession. But
I mean, the Bear's crazy. Done. Sorry if we spoiled the end for you, but
I also love how they interlaced Gary into the season.
Gary,
that one off episode they put out as almost a teaser run up to season 5. The standalone.
Oh, Gary, Indiana.
Yeah.
Okay, I was thinking of a character named Gary.
No, the Gary episode. Yeah.
Well, I know. I thought that was very cool, and then when I told you to watch it, you were like, "Yeah, that was a letdown."
Yeah. Well, it wasn't a letdown from a performance standpoint. It was just I don't like the anxiety. That was just. It was like a fucking diamond being crushed, and I was
those anxiety episodes each seasons were the ones like, God, that was painful, but the payoff from it is so huge. I mean, the one where they introduced Jamie Lee Curtis as the mom and around the dinner and
the 7 fishes.
Oh my God,
that whole episode just.
But to see her arc.
Oh
shit! I'm almost crying now thinking about her.
So good, so good. And it's hard to say too. Like even I can't even remember the other cousin, the Fox. There's Neil, who is Maddie Matheson, and then the other guy, I think is Trey.
The Fax. The other guy, the other Fact.
Yeah, like he even did great in this season.
It was his best season.
Yeah, and I love the 2 characters that came over from the other restaurant, the Asian guy that was super hard on Richie, that gave him this is the Super Bowl every day, and the girl that is now running Expo essentially. I'm not sure I know her name.
Is it Jana or something like that?
Maybe something like that. But I just feel like every character did so well, and Marcus is phenomenal. I think him and Sydney are probably, obviously Carmi's a great character as well. But Marcus, Sydney, and Richie, I think, are the main attractants.
Oh, I mean, I remember season 1 and 2, you hated Richie, and I was like, no, man, there's the meat there.
Yeah.
But
he was just,
and he was supposed to be.
Yeah,
he was supposed to.
As a sign of a good actor.
But I mean, what they did with T for the whole series was amazing.
Yeah, but little tidbit, I'm sure you realize this, but you saw Project Hail Mary, right?
Yeah.
So Carl, the driver, is Marcus.
Oh, that's Marcus?
Yeah.
I did not realize that. I knew I recognized him. Yeah.
That's Marcus.
That is okay.
Yeah. We should get back to bikes. The Tour de France is about to start.
Is it though?
What do you mean?
It's so hot there. They got drastic changes coming. Blah, 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 blah.
I was watching a preview, and they were talking about this is going to be the highest attrition rate on the Tour de France since, I can't remember what they said, like in 50 years or something. Because the course, they're going through the Pyrenees, then they're going to the Alps, but they're going to be in the Pyrenees the first week. And the climbing is relentless. So, they changed up the team time trial standards. Now it's going to be, I'm going to get this wrong, but it used to be your team got the time of the 5th rider that crossed the line. Now it's every rider gets their own time. I think that's what I recall. And then the only solo time trial happens at like day 20 or something.
Is it Is it on Peacock again this year, or is it on Max? Do we know?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
My Peacock has expired,
Mm-hmm.
but they sent me an
Is
email.
that an age thing? Your Peacock expiring? Sorry, I couldn't resist. He sucks his teeth.
So yeah, I don't know.
But the video I watched made some lofty predictions.
I just remember over the years they've talked about whenever they've had a Tour de France that went over 80 degrees, they complained about how hot it is.
Yeah.
Now they're going to be over 100 degrees.
That's what I was saying. The guy said it can be in excess of 32 degrees Celsius. And I was like, I've got to look this up. And it was 86 degrees or something. And I go, cry me a fucking river. What are you even talking about? But the predictor that I was watching, it was a AI created video with, how they just put text in and it's red. And you can tell because they're mispronouncing everybody's name.
Right.
They're doing it very phonetically.
Right.
But they basically said that the leaderboard after the first week is going to be, it's only going to go one of two ways. It's going to be kind of what people are thinking, or it's going to be totally shook up, because this is a true climbers Tour de France this year. There's so much climbing, and then I think Pogacar's lead guy is out, and Vindigo's Wout van Aert is out. And so those guys are going to have to kind of battle on their own, but they can't be shielded and protected that much in the mountains anyways. All they can be done, they can be paced. They can have somebody pace and break the wind a little bit, but it's going to be interesting either way. But in the meantime, the Tour Divide concluded.
Okay.
And we have a new course, multiple course records, as we talked about before.
Multiple course records. So the overall of anybody that's ridden a Tour Divide ever record is established. We knew it was going to happen last week, but it hadn't happened yet. So what was the gentleman's name?
Victor Bossoni. I'm probably saying it wrong.
And that was 11 days and what?
11 days, 8 hours, 7 minutes.
All right. So that's a new north to south overall record by a very wide margin.
Yeah.
But we still haven't clarified what happened to...
There was a reroute last year.
But we don't know the specifics of it because his was the only one that had that asterisk. Or was his the only one that had the asterisk because it was the only one that built...
Attention, yeah.
Okay.
I would think that may be the case.
That would make more sense.
I'm not entirely certain.
That would make more sense. But now we have a true blue overall record, but we also have an overall
single speed
record.
Felix Leberge.
Look at that cute little boy.
14 days, 7 hours, and 36 minutes on a single speed.
Does it say what bike he was on? I'm just curious.
It shows it, but I can't. Hold on just a second, because there's another record. Megan Hakkinen wins the Tour 2026 Tour Divide in record time. So we also had a new women's record.
This is the first I've heard this.
14 days, 10 hours, and 2 minutes.
Huh. I had not heard that before.
She was on a salsa.
Okay.
Appears to be a cutthroat.
I'm sure it was.
Let's see what your single speed guy was on. I don't even know what brand that is. There's a picture of his bike. Oh, wait, here it is. His bike is from Cycles Tulip with 2 P's, an independent bike manufacturer based in Montreal, Quebec. Steel frame for bulletproof reliability, 34-18 gear ratio. Stands arch rims with a Sun 28 Dynamo, 2.25 Mezcal tires.
Man, is that single speed or is that single speed there?
Single speed.
Boy, howdy. I like the sound of all of that.
Yeah.
Stands, rims, steel, single speed.
Let's see. She had to be, that has got to be a cut.
It's got to be a cutty. That is the first I've heard of the women's record being set.
That's a good looking bike. That is a course record bike right there. Cutthroat, Sea Rival GX, Axis transmission, SUS, Oh, sus. So she's got a suspension
Suspension
fork. Yeah. 2.2 tires. It doesn't tell what tires she's running. They look like Renee Hurst's, but I don't know. Doesn't call them out.
They don't look slow. All right.
Pretty impressive, though. 3 new records. All of the major categories disrupted just this year. So you've got a new men's record,
New single speed,
and new women's record. Yeah.
That's pretty impressive.
Freaking impressive.
And now everything out there's on fire.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I saw. Is it outside of Ouray? However you say it.
I think Ouray is on fire right now, is my understanding, but I haven't looked that closely. I'm kind of scared too. It's going to make me cry.
Yeah.
So craziness. All right. So
what you said, this wind's bringing
Saharan dust, and there it is in my back of my throat right there. So it brings that. We have Saharan dust.
Same shit last year.
It's been kind of sort of regular for the past few years. Again, it's a byproduct of just
look at that guy.
Yep. Just the overall higher average temperatures and stuff. It just, even in the Sahara, kicks up even more dust is what ends up happening.
You know what he looks like?
What's that?
You remember the RCA dog?
Kind of, sort of.
Yeah.
Kind of, sort of. Everybody that's got a white dog with a spot on it says it looks like the RCA dog.
Oh, you think so? Okay. I didn't come up with that. Somebody else told
Understood.
me. But
Understood. I'm not saying he doesn't. That's a very common analogy, though. And no, actually, our audience is old, so our audience knows what we mean by that.
Yeah, I guess maybe he doesn't. All right.
Put a circle on his eye, and he'll look like Petey from the Little Rascals.
Yeah. What else is going on in the cycling world? I looked at bicycle retailer news, and there's really not much. Mayor Mamdani is sued over relaxing e-vehicle enforcement policy. I don't know what all that means, but
I don't either.
Eurobike is going to a biannual after next year, so they'll do it every 2 years. Shimano adds wheels to its e-commerce offering. Nothing really, IMBA announces trail accelerator grant recipients. That's kind of cool. Not really much going on. Have you been captivated by all of the World Cup attendees from other nations just praising how awesome America is?
I have not watched a single minute of anything World Cup.
It is the best thing to happen to social media since social media. There are thousands of people from Japan, Scotland, Australia, name a country, that have come over to America for the World Cup and been astounded at the comparison from what they anticipated and what they encountered, from personalities, safety, food, hospitality, camaraderie. It's the most heartwarming thread to go through social media that I've witnessed in a long time, and it gives me a new hope for humanity. It's a beautiful thing. I highly encourage you get some of that on your algorithm because it's good stuff.
Yeah, I haven't watched anything World Cup at all.
Yeah.
I've had no interest in it whatsoever.
This is less about the World Cup. The World Cup is the catalyst.
No,
but
if I'm not looking into anything World Cup, I'm probably not coming across that information. Is all I'm saying.
But it's more about international tourism. Once again, just being in my own, niche, if you will. It kind of felt like in the past years, especially since COVID, that international travel is just becoming less and less and less of a thing because of safety and relationships, international relationships, and just general tension. But this whole thing kind of makes me feel a lot better about it.
Okay.
So, it seems like there's been so much good times had, and DFW's part of it, which is cool, you know? So, I don't know. I just think it's an overall net good. So
I like good.
Yeah.
I like good a lot.
I know we didn't really talk about 32-inch bikes, but it's interesting that all of the videos that I've been seeing and sending you and Caleb and stuff with 32-inch content, it's not lost on me that Eurobike is going on, and I haven't watched any Eurobike coverage, but the majority of the 32-inch coverage I've been seeing is coming from foreign countries. There was a lot of it from Sea Otter, and then it seemed like it kind of went quiet on the United States side, and now it seems to be a bunch of Euro influence. So whether it's Spain,
I had somebody that dropped by yesterday while we were doing the race that said, "Did you see that they had 32-inch bikes at a UCI mountain bike race and women won on it or something?"
I didn't see that.
I hadn't seen it. I hadn't heard. I'd know nothing about that. So that's on my to-do list today to see if there's. I would have thought that would have jumped out at me somewhere along the way, but maybe not. I don't follow UCI racing, but as thick as the 32-inch talk is these days, I would have thought that would have been a headline that popped into my feed accidentally, but maybe not. So I'll check on that. I'm definitely going to do some research into the international travel aspects of the World Cup that you're talking about now.
It's worth looking into.
I'm interested in it, no doubt about that. The one thing I didn't bring up with my takeaway from the survey and the experiment yesterday is, yes, we are definitely going to take our stuff back into endurance mountain biking.
You've been calling for it for a while.
I've been saying, I think it's what the market needs. I think it's what the mountain bike market needs. Mm-hmm. I think it's part of what somebody in the mountain bike industry's kind of been driving towards. I thought that was part of the 32-inch stuff, but maybe not. But I didn't know if there was a market for it. And that's what yesterday was. It's like, I'm just going to put something really simple out there, see if anyone's interested. And there was enough interest, and the people that were there were like, please more, please more, please more.
Yeah.
It's not going to be huge, but it's like, it was fun, and it was a fun crowd. And it still had that classic vibe to it, just with a few words I didn't understand as much. Yeah. So we're going to lean into that a little bit more. So
I like it.
The current plan is in August, we're going to do either North Shore or Nob Hills night laps and do an endurance night thing in August, since we're moving Midnight Massacre to September. And then we'll probably drop in one endurance mountain bike thing each month, weather permitting. Again, that's been my biggest issue with the mountain bike stuff. Weather is most assuredly always a factor there.
Yeah, and North Shore's closed open with all the rain we've had.
Right.
So, how was the trail?
I didn't hear any complaints.
Yeah.
Usually if it's sandy, people go, "Oh man, it's a sand pit." Yeah. I didn't hear anyone say anything about that.
And it's always good to get a bunch of traffic on that trail, whether it's sandy or not. But so just looking at this, I just pulled it up. This guy won a stage of the Cape Epic, South Africa's Western Cape.
That was a while ago.
Yeah. But they said he's the first. This is the first time a 32-inch wheel bike has taken an elite level UCI race. But this is the most interesting thing of the whole article, is it says down here, the UCI officially approved 32-inch wheels for XC racing. That's the caveat.
Yeah, they approved that last year.
Yeah, no, it says November 2025. I was getting there.
Oh, okay.
But I was conflating that with what Ben Delaney was talking about. That was UCI
for gravel and road.
For gravel and road that they're bucking back on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
But doesn't that kind of count one of their main arguments where they were trying to...
Doesn't that sound like UCI's full of shit?
Yeah. So if they approved it for mountain biking, yet one of the bullet points that they laid out in their argument was we don't need more standards in cycling,
Right.
wouldn't that mean
Well,
that
but
they...
see, the thing was in November when they approved it,
Uh-huh.
like I think it was less than 2 weeks before they had put out a statement that they didn't think there was a need to address it because, there wasn't a need to approve it because there's plenty of hardware, blah, blah, blah. And then less than 2 weeks later, then UCI surprisingly all of a sudden said, oh, we're going to approve 32-inch mountain bike tires out. That's when I first, there's somebody big in the mix telling the UCI what to do around 32.
Yeah.
That was when I started, my conspiracy had started really going on 32 because UCI did an about face on mountain bike side of things then.
Yeah. And then now they're taking a stand against 32-inch road and gravel.
Right. And there's somebody big telling them not to on that side. That's my conspiracy theory.
Yeah, that makes it a lot more interesting though, that they're yes, no. They got
to come up with, everybody rationalizes, right? Everybody rationalizes. And I'm rationalizing that I need to get on home.
Okay.
And you got to get to your meeting.
I do have a meeting.
So tell them what to do, Bradford.
Go ride your bike. I don't care if you're flat pedals or drop bars.
Have you been riding your bike?
I rode last Sunday, not this past Sunday. I rode the Sunday before.
All right. You're riding tomorrow night, right?
I plan to be.
All right. Maybe I'll see you out there.
Yeah, I don't have a dinner this weekend. Oh, are you still recording?
I am.
July 11th, Sagamore Spirits. I still have too many seats, honestly. I'm very surprised, but it's also summer. We're going to be putting on a spectacular menu with fantastic whiskeys. It's going to be a good time. So go to eatatfam.com, sign up, come join us. Let's make some memories.
Go ride your bikes.
Go ride your bike.